Welcome to the Livin' in Sedona channel. I'm Cami. I'm one of your local real estate agents that serve Sedona and the Verde Valley area. Hey, are you a person that dreams of owning a home in a cute little historical town? Or maybe you're a family that's looking to grow your family and live in a community where it's very family oriented and has lots of amenities for families. Or maybe you're someone that's looking to downsize. Well, Clarkdale, Arizona might be a good spot for you to take a look at. That's where we are today, and we're getting started right now. So today we are in the cute little town of Clarkdale, Arizona, and I'm actually standing in the center of town where their little park is, and they have a gazebo. This is actually where they hold some of their summer concerts. The gazebo actually is under construction right now. It's got a lot of fencing and you're not allowed to get close to it. So unfortunately, I won't be able to give you a good look at that today, but I'm surprised at how much traffic is going by, so I'm really hoping that my microphones are drowning out the cars. But with no further ado, let's introduce you to Clarkdale, Arizona. This charming, cute little town is located on the banks of the Verde River in the Verde Valley. It's just 25 minutes from Sedona. It's the neighbor to Cottonwood, 10 minutes to Jerome, and just over the mountain through Jerome is Prescott, which probably would take you a good 45 minutes depending on how fast you drive. I like to mention that it is the neighbor to Cottonwood because that's important, because there's not a whole lot of amenities such as grocery stores, gas stations, shopping. So if you were to live in the town of Clarkdale, you probably would be traveling to Cottonwood to do your local grocery shopping and get gas and those types of things. So I wanted to mention that on the video for sure. So here's a little bit of history for you history buffs out here. Clarkdale was founded in 1912 and made its mark on the map being the first master community, planned community in the state of Arizona. Now I'm sure the planned communities back then were not really quite what they are today, but I just thought it was interesting that it made its mark that way for the first planned community in the state of Arizona. Originally, this town is known as a company town. Clarkdale was formed by the United Verde Copper Company and to provide housing and services to its employees and that worked at their copper smelter, which I should have a picture of for you. What I found interesting is that they even segregated parts of the town based on ethnicity and social class. And so interestingly enough, not that we have segregation right now, but if you were to purchase like in the lower, what was considered the lower class back then, those homes are actually a little cheaper than if you were to purchase up here in the middle of town where the homes are a little bit more expensive. So I just thought that was kind of interesting, like history kind of like follows. It's just that was just an interesting side note. Clarkdale's economy has moved past its mining roots though. It does continue to be a good model of good urban planning by preserving the historical treasures that it possesses and by planning for the future growth and opportunity of this community. The biggest economic driver here in Clarkdale is the Salt River Materials Group, and it is one of Arizona's largest cement manufacturing facilities, and this plant has played a major economic role to the town of Clarkdale. But tourism is definitely making its mark here in Clarkdale. The town, like I said, has done a very good job of preserving its historic treasures and sharing it with the world, as they should. And there's nothing wrong with capitalizing on that. For example, the original rail line that served the smelter is now known as the Verde Canyon Railroad. They provide scenic tours throughout the Sycamore Canyon and along the river. And I've done several videos on the Verde Valley Canyon Railroad, which I think if you are here during any time, it's a good, trip to take. It is a 4-hour scenic excursion, so just be aware of that. But at Christmas time, it's fun, it's gorgeous, it's just a lot of fun for the little ones. So if you have little kids, that's definitely should be on the list. Clarkdale is also home to the Tuzagoot National Monument and the Arizona Copper Museum, which, by the way, is located in the old Clarkdale High School. So definitely lots of history here in Clarkdale, and it's still being seen today, and that's really a good thing to see as they're sharing what has made them Clarkdale. They're sharing it with the world. But if history isn't your thing, there's still lots of things to do here in Clarkdale. Because of its location, you have plenty of hiking trails, plenty of areas to bike and off-road. Obviously, kayaking the Verde River should be on your list. We have done that on this channel, so I'll make sure I link that video up for you to take a look at if you haven't seen that yet. So I'll give a shout out to the Clarkdale Kayaking Company. Did a very nicely well done tour. You be prepared to be well informed of the historical aspect of the river and how the people utilize the river, and just, yeah, it was really a really great tour. I highly recommend it. And then, as I mentioned earlier, one of the things that Clarkdale's been doing several years is the summer concerts in the park, which is right here in the center of town. And I hear a lot about this even from people that are in Cottonwood and Sedona. They actually come out here for the live music and live entertainment and dancing and foods. Usually they have lots of food trucks, so it's really very community based. Okay, I'm going to talk real estate, right? Let's talk about some of the housing options that I was kind of talking about before, depending on your season of life. Cost of living, just so you know, population of Clarkdale is just under around 5,000. I believe that's coming from the 2020 census, so hopefully we'll be getting an updated number here soon. I think it's higher. The cost of living is about 16% higher than the national average. Most of that, of course, is coming from the cost of housing, which is 54% higher than the national average. Now, before you go freaking out on me and saying, oh, I could never afford that, I could never live there, it's too expensive, let's compare that to the place where everybody wants to be, right? Well, I'll say most people want to be. They want to be in Sedona, right? Well, the housing cost in Sedona is 105% higher than the national average. So Clarkdale is about half of what you could have to pay in Sedona. So if that helps to give you a little bit of perspective, that is the cost of living and the cost of housing in Clarkdale, which is definitely more affordable than Sedona. And Sedona is only 25-30 minutes away, and you can still, in some parts of Clarkdale, see Sedona, see the Red Rock in the distant view. So earlier when I was talking about different options, I wanted to kind of go through those options. So let's say if you wanted to live in the historic district. These homes are obviously older. Remember, they were built 1920s, 1950s. So, a lot of these homes have some character to them. A lot of these homes are smaller, meaning about 800 to 1,200 square feet. Most of them are 2-bedroom, 1 to 2 baths. If you were to buy where I'm standing right now in this historic district, which is kind of closer to the center of town, the updated homes here are running about $350,000, $400,000. Some of them have been really cutely renovated, and nicely maintained. I love the little front yards with the fencing. I think it's such a cute little town, and has just great potential. Even if you use these homes as an investment, a lot of people are using them now as Airbnbs because, you have some sort of view. Most of these homes have some sort of view, whether it's of Mingus Mountain, whether it's of Jerome, and you can see Jerome lit up at night. Sometimes it's, the Sycamore Canyon, again, Sedona. And so, it's really a good option if you're looking for a smaller home that has a great community, sense of community. You can walk here to the park. There's lots of people walking their dogs, and play area for the kids. So perfect option if you wanted to consider living in a historic district. You cannot talk about Clarkdale without talking about the subdivision Mountain Gate. Mountain Gate is located right in the middle of Clarkdale. It's very, very, very family oriented. If you are a 55 and older person and you don't want to be around kids, do not move here to this subdivision. This is a heavily family oriented and centered subdivision, and I think that it draws a lot of families for that reason. And one of the amenities that they have there is the subdivision itself is not gated, but within the community, there is a gated section called the Miners Gulch for picnicking, the kids to play, people to play tennis or pickleball, and that's the gated section of Mountain Gate. So only the residents of Mountain Gate have access to that. And it's got great views, so you really can enjoy being outside with your family and having great views as well. I just want to mention something about this subdivision with the price point right now. It is a large subdivision. It has over 600 platted lots, I think there's probably maybe close to 500 homes already built. There are some lots that are still available if you have interest in building a home. They do have lots available. The builder is Lawler Construction and Mandalay Homes. So, you do have that option. Heading into 2025, we're seeing these price points of these homes be dropped. We're now seeing things on the market around the 250, 280 a square foot, which we haven't seen that. So that's something to watch. If you're interested in Mountain Gate, I highly, highly, highly recommend you sit and watch for a little bit. Make sure if you're using a real estate agent, they're a good negotiator, because right now there are 21 homes on the market in that subdivision. That's, those are like people that are reselling. So they're competing with the builder who is, still has homes to build. So I think that if you're watching that subdivision, you might be in the position to get a really sweet deal here in the very near future. All right, I want to mention the only 55 and older community that is in Clarkdale is Lamplighter, and it is a manufactured home only, 55 and older, and the lot lease right now for most of those are around $750 to $800 a month, depending on what your home sits on. That determines like how high your monthly lot fee is. The homes in that community, I would say, range anywhere from like 90 to 120,000. I think there's one on the market for 120,000 right now. But if you find a home that needs a lot of work, like I think there was just one that sold for around 50, but it totally needed renovated. But if you're in that age where that fits your season of life, then it's a good option. It's literally right outside of Cottonwood, so you really have quick access to Cottonwood, which is nice. A lot of people think that Pine Shadows and On the Greens, which are also 55 and older communities, they get confused about whether they're located in Clarkdale or Cottonwood, and that's just because they're so close to the Clarkdale line that a lot of people think they're in Clarkdale, but they're actually in Cottonwood, but they are on the outskirts of Cottonwood. Just to let you know, those are a little more expensive. They have a little bit more of a lot lease fee, and that's just because they have more amenities. On the Greens, obviously, you're on a golf course, so you've got that amenity if you're a golfer. So those two are a little bit more pricier because of the amenities that's involved. Well, I hope this information was helpful for you, and I hope that you've seen the relocation guide. Feel free to scan that if you want some information. I don't call you and bug you. I just like to send you that information, and then I do a follow-up call just to make sure you got it and see if you have any questions. So if you have further interest in, Clarkdale, Sedona, the Verde Valley area, really, please feel free to scan that or reach out to me however you feel most comfortable. I do like hearing from all kinds of people all across the world, even if it's not about housing. If you just want to, if you're coming for a visit and you're like, I'm gonna go hike Cathedral Rock, what do you think? I love Sedona and this area, so I love talking about it. It doesn't matter what we're talking about, I still just love talking about it. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share, and always make it a great day at Living in Sedona, and I'll see you next week.